All right, guys, I got a new mic right here. I hope it's not too distracting. It looks kind of weird. This is not gonna be a normal video. It's just gonna be me kind of walking around, observing things. We just had a huge rain event here, and I'm off work today because it's raining too much to really do anything outside. So thought I'd show y'all around and just see if we could see the water in the swales in the old forest garden. And we're gonna look right here where we've been working on the food forest we just established. These are terraces, they're not really swales. So I'm just trying to notice, like, see this little thing of water right here. It's good to go out after it just rains so you can tell where all the water's going, but it would be good to cut a little ditch with the shovel right there, and I could redirect all this water right onto this terrace right here. As you can see, the terrace is completely flat on the high end, and on that end it slopes down. I don't know if you can tell here. Let's see if my foot's higher, if you can tell. Yeah, there you go. But this terrace is doing pretty much its job. If you see water sitting on top like that, that's exactly what I want. Slow it down from going downhill. Here's the garlic that I planted. I think it's been 4 or 5 weeks now, at least. It was well before Christmas. All of it came up really good. Yep. Even the ones that didn't have mulch came up really good. Some of it got washed out because we had a rain event like right after I planted a lot of it. But the garlic and the mulch looks really good. Next year, I think I'm gonna go through and put another load of mulch right here, and I'm just gonna keep doing these little teardrop terraces, whatever you call them. I'm gonna layer them all the way down the slope and potentially like on over there. That way I'll have even more room for garlic, because next year I'll have probably double the amount of garlic that I planted this year. Let's see if I can get it. Looking good. Got kind of a large area right here that's a little bit too large for like a path or anything, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do in that area. I don't need all that room. There's a lot of persimmons right here. That's a persimmon. All these 4 trees right here are persimmons, but only one of them produces fruit. I only have one female right there, so I'm probably going to end up cutting one of those down. I hope it doesn't start raining out here again. Didn't bring my rain jacket at all. All right, well, we're gonna walk to the old food forest. Let's see if I can get you a good reference. Here's the one we just planted. There's our house up there. All these right here are a row of sawtooth oaks. My dad planted them for deer a while back. I'm probably gonna keep that one and that one over there, and I'm probably going to cut these 2, and that is a female persimmon right there that produces really nice fruit. And these sawtooths, they keep going down the line, down the slope over there. And I own the land pretty much at the end of the field. There's a trail that goes back that way, and I own pretty much the edge right there. And this is also my property. These are some pine trees that I requested the tree cutters leave because I just wanted like a kind of a different environment to experiment in. Let's take this trail right here. In case y'all are new to the channel, I actually don't do too many videos like this. I'm only 6 months in, so we're still kind of learning exactly what type of content I like to produce. It's going to get a lot less frequent well, I guess from here on out, me posting is going to get a lot less frequent because I really like making something really nice to watch. I've been really getting into cinematography and photography, and just kind of raindrop hit me right in the forehead. Yeah, I just kind of want to get into making really high quality videos. I'm going to start doing like some content. Like I've already started filming like growing like some obscure type of mushroom, and I'm gonna try to film it from the beginning to the end, which, I mean, sometimes that takes up to a year to 18 months to get all that in. But here we are at the edge of the pines, and our first swale is right here. I dug this swale 4 or 5 years ago by hand, and I'm walking in it right now. It's cleared up. It's very grown up in here. I'm probably going to do a video pretty soon on it. See, it goes underneath this this little plastic pipe right there. I'm not going to ever use these plastic pipes because rats get in there, and then my dog pulls up the pipes. I'm going to try to use terracotta or like metal or something in the future. But as you can see, this is the berm right here that slopes that way, and water comes down from right here and it gets caught by the swell. The swell is perfectly on contour, and it waters all this stuff right here. Like, this is a rose bush. It's really hard to tell what I have out here because of everything's grown up and it's wintertime, everything's dead. But this is a Indian fig cactus, a really delicious cactus to eat in the summertime. You can't actually find this cactus really anywhere in the store, so it's a really cool one to have. I find these in South Carolina, about 30 miles south of Newberry, which is where I am. All the land turns to sand. It's called the fall line, and that's where there used to be the beach pretty much. And these type of cactuses grow everywhere in the sand land. So if you're in the southeast or the northeast, a lot of the coast has that sand land. If you're up in the hills or in the mountains, try growing the sand land. You can find these Indian fig cactus. I don't think you can actually find these at a market or anything. But yeah, the swell keeps going around here. Got more roses. Old pine tree. This right here is a chocolate persimmon. I think it's still alive. And this swell goes on. And it looks like it actually needs to be built up a little bit right here. So yeah, and it's actually dry right here. Over the years, what happens is it starts filling up with just debris and silt, and you have to clean them out. These haven't been cleaned out since I built them. So just a thing to think about. This forest garden, I've talked about it in the past, but it is actually, this used to be an old loading dock, and they took all the topsoil and they literally scraped it off just so they wouldn't get the machinery stuck. And it was, at the time, it was the only clear spot that I had that I could actually do any sort of gardening. I'm not anywhere, besides my house, which was not there up until a year ago, I'm not close to any sort of electricity or water source. So that's why I did the swales. This whole garden was basically a giant experiment for me. I had never really grown much of anything. And I didn't know, I didn't know how quickly things grew. I learned a lot of lessons in this forest garden. I guess you could call this more of like a zone 4 garden in permaculture now, because it's really far away from my house, and I didn't design it really well for access. I didn't design it really well for just future management in general. As you see all behind me right here, I have lots of pines and sweet gums and all types of stuff, black willows popping up, and it's just too much space in between these for me to really manage too much. So instead, what I do is I'll look for like a wild American persimmon that's popping up out of these pines, and I'll try to cut the pines and all the other stuff back, and just try to promote what nature's putting there. Sometimes I'll try to put something in there like a mulberry, because it can actually grow really fast with this and compete with wild things here. But yeah, go watch my video. I think I have a video where I talked about how I made this food forest and everything. Go watch that. And if you're wanting to get started on making a food forest, just learn the lessons from this. I don't know your situation, but I did another video not too long ago on making a food forest up there, which is how I'm gonna do it a lot more in the future. Just designed really well for access, where I can actually get a tractor in, because We have, my family owns about 300 acres around me, but I own 10 acres, and then there's another 10 acres that I can actually do with whatever I want to do with it. So yeah, we're working on a large scale here, so we're going to do more of what we did in that past forest garden, and not do so much of what we did here. But I mean, I learned either way. I learned a lot about what could grow here, the rates of wild plants, and the rates of growth for you know, plants you buy, pears, apples, peaches. So I learned a lot. That's what, and the good thing about doing it the way I did, this is like a little 1 acre garden here, is I learned about what actually grows good here, and I didn't spend a lot of money doing it. I mean, I might have like maybe $500 worth of plants down here in this forest garden, and there's still a good bit of them alive. Like you see, that's a pear tree right there doing really well. It has pears on it. This cactus right here got knocked back in the cold. I had that thing for like 5 years. I should replant these things. Look at how big that freaking pad was. I feel like it's grown. Honestly, this will probably grow from the little spines right here. Something's making noise in here. I don't know. But yeah, this is another swell right here. I started earlier on the corner of this swell was right here. And we walked down this swell, and I have them blocked up by these sandbags. Now, you don't have to actually use a sandbag like this. You could just make a spillover or something on a slight slope. But yeah, I can just pull this sandbag up and all this water will drain down. This is like a little drainage canal dug right here. Once again, I know y'all can't really tell what's going on. Sometime this month I'm going to try to get in here and actually clear around and do a video on that. But right here in front of me are black locusts. So I can't really grow any further because these are covered in thorns. I don't know if you can see them. Almost everything here has thorns. This was the original black locust tree. It's supposed to be a nitrogen fixer, and it also has fruit on it. And that one has spread black locusts all over the place. So if you do put a black locust in your environment, just be ready for it to spread everywhere. So yeah, the black locusts are right here, and they run down into this swell. This was where one of those pipes were, and I pulled it up because my dog and I never came back down here and fixed it, so it's a little clogged up right here. But yeah, I can walk in this swell too. Holds the water really well. And this one wraps around all the way over there. There's the big pear tree doing really well. It's cool to see all the water down here. And then this swell pops out over here. Oh, that's why it's no water right there. See, if I want to hold the water, this sandbag, and you want to keep these sandbags out of the sun because it will break down. And I can just throw that right there and it'll clog it up. But as you can see, this swell runs down right here. You can actually see the water running right now. And it runs down into this one. And it goes through there. I'm not gonna walk in there, just a lot of briars. But this swell, you can see there's a lot of water in it there. I mean, that's like 6 inches deep of water right there. But this spot is always wet. It's a fig tree right here. Probably died back to about its roots right now. And that swell comes out over here. Gosh, so wet right here. I built this shed about 5 years ago. There's a lot of old stuff in here. I need to come go through here. Good shed though, stays fairly dry. Hey P. And this that swell comes out right there and goes around the shed like a curtain drain so it stays dry in there. And then it runs out into this one. Also a lot of blackberries in there, so I'm not gonna walk there right now. This would be a really good blackberry patch next year. But, Look at that. This is a flying dragon tree, Poncirus trifolium. Like I know y'all saw me planting these in the other food forest. Same thing, I was just throwing the fruit out here and it just pops up. It's a really cool plant. And then that swell, there's a sandbag blocking it, and it runs down here to the pond down there. But let me show you this lavender. It's a lavender plant. This lavender right here is probably 3 or 4 years old. I just clear around it temporarily and it's done really well there. All right, so that's the last swell. Wow, look at the pond here. And my fire pit is also a miniature pond. But yeah, this right here is what it all drains out into. This is only like a 3 feet deep pond. I need to actually dig it out. It's just been filled with silt over the years. There used to be a pipe right here as well. Once again, my dog ripped it out. All the swells that you just saw were up here in the landscape, and they all run down through here into this pond that is overflowing. And then this pond runs off into the last swell, which I haven't planted anything in this swell. It's just too far away for me to do anything, but it holds water really well. You can see it in there going along. So a lot of lessons learned in this garden. I actually did a really good job with the water systems, in my opinion, but I did not do a good job with the access. That is where I failed in this garden. But you know, you live and you learn. Everything was well worth the money. If I'm doing these swells again, I'm probably gonna mow in front of them like you see here with a much larger mower, like a bush hog or something. And that's a plum right there. Actually, part of my management, I don't know if y'all know this, but I actually like the blackberries to grow around like these plants like this. I like for them to get to about this height, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe like 6 feet high. And I keep the blackberries around them because that is what keeps the deer off of them. The deer they don't eat the leaves on like any prunus species that I've noticed, at least not down here. But what they often do is a buck will come through here, which is a male deer, and he'll rub his antlers on the tree and he'll girdle it basically. And these briars keep them off. Plus I get blackberries from the briars, so. But the thing is, being able to get the tree over the briar height. As you can see, the briars come up 6-7 feet. So they'll go all the way up there, but they won't go much higher than that. As long as I can get the tree above the briars and just keep it well marked so I don't cut it later, I'm pretty much good as far as worrying about any deer. You do have to go in these briars and like get some long clippers and clip these little pines and sweet gums that pop out. A lot of people don't realize it, but blackberries are like God's natural protection for trees to be able to grow. That's why you often see blackberries on the edge of woods. They literally protect little tiny trees, and then the trees come up over the blackberries. So we're just kind of using nature's function. We're using nature as like a fence, basically. Let me see, I planted a plum back here. I need to really get in there and, yeah. There's another plum in here. I need to not lose that. That's the hard thing, is losing what you plant and you end up cutting it. But right here is another plum. But it's all alive. But being able to compete with the pines and the sweet gums long term, that is the question. But we'll see. The water systems are still doing really good. I'm proud about all that. I don't really see any huge leaks or anything. And this pond's only like 4 feet deep. But and it will water my garden about 1.5 times, so it can get me through about a month drought. But you can see the little spout right there. It's like the top where it doesn't overflow the little tiny little dam I have over there. I have a valve right here and I have a valve on the other end, and I can just turn that valve down there and I can drain this pond into my swells. You can see the little, if you can see the shed that we were just at is right there. So yeah, this all drains down that way. This is the pond's higher elevation than the forest garden, so I'm able to just use gravity to get the water down there. All right, so this is the little scene that y'all saw right at the beginning of the video, right next to my house. I haven't done really any swells close to my house. This water is only here temporarily, although it is pretty deep. It doesn't hold like mosquitoes or anything. So all these swells and stuff, they're designed to just slow down the water. They don't hold water permanently. They're not gonna attract mosquitoes, just so everybody knows that. But yeah, we're right here by my house. I haven't done any swells here, but I do have a lot of these terraced mulch patches, I guess you would call them. And I have garlic planted right here. Y'all can see all that. But yeah, this is like a cool little mulch formation I did here. And there's a bay tree in here. It doesn't look really good, but little patch of mulch right there. And I did it right here, and it was lower right there, and the mulch is higher, so it just naturally created like a little small, almost a small pond slash swell. But it's not, it's a little bit, holds a little bit more water than a typical swell does, but thought I'd explain that to y'all. There's a little gnome with a thyme plant. And pretty much all up here by my house, I have these little terrace mulch areas. Gonna plant a lot of asparagus and blueberries, and these are all gonna be perennials. Pretty much almost everything at my house is gonna be perennials. Even my main garden right there, I'm gonna have deer sensitive perennials in. But I need to figure out a spot where I can do a nice big annual garden and make sure I don't actually go and accidentally plant, because that's what happened in that garden. Is I went and planted asparagus and a couple other things that are perennials. I'm like, I can't really tarp it now. So I'm gonna find another area pretty soon where I can do an annual garden and tarp it and manage it that way. But I have plenty of these spots right now I can stick annuals here and there. And even in my main garden back here, I'll walk around there in a second, probably stick some annuals in there this year as well. But yeah, these not really holding up any water, just because I think the mulch is still like so permeable. It's kind of just slowing it down a little bit. But I did plant a little bit of garlic in here. I guess I buried some eggs right there and Chester dug them out. But these are all looking good. I can manage these with a riding lawnmower in there. Here's our little mushroom inoculation area. Here's our herb garden. No water being held up in there, but looking very beautiful. Managed with a weed eater. Let's go check out my annual garden. Let's go check out my fenced in garden that may have some annuals in here, but this is gonna end up being a deer sensitive perennial garden. And this garden is also on contour, so it might be holding up a little bit of water, but the paths and the beds here have been mulched dramatically, so there's almost never any standing water. It all gets soaked up immediately. Gotta keep that around there. But yeah, as I thought, no standing water in here. Too good a soil. But this is, ooh, look at, this is my comfrey. See, it died back and little shoots are already coming up. Another perennial. But yeah, looking good. Can't wait to fill this thing up. I also want to show you the mushroom yard real quick. There's not really any hydrology down here that I made or anything, but it is a bottom, so. And we'll just see if there's any shiitakes while we're at the video. All right, so y'all saw the house behind me, and this is the edge of my property, but I actually can pretty much manage it however I'd like. But yeah, it's some old hardwoods. That's where I used to burn biochar. See the little ring around the pit? But here's my mushroom yard. It's about the only spot on the property that we actually have shade. So, but yeah, it's running good down here. The stack right here is either a shiitake or a tiger sawgill. But these were only inoculated in February of 2022, so they probably still have at least another 6 months before we see any fruit off of them. I just harvested a bunch of shiitakes just a couple weeks ago off these logs, so not really expecting to find anything, but this is an older stack right here from 2018. These are from 2019, I think. I leaned them up against a tree. They did not do very good. I don't think I let these actually all colonize properly. So I don't think I've actually done the method well enough where I get a lot of, where I've gotten the maximum amount of shiitakes that I should be getting. But here's one, and this is off the new stack. As you can see, it's only the very small log that's fruiting, and there's just the one mushroom. The smaller logs are often going to be the first logs that produce. The larger the diameter of the log, the longer it's going to take before you see any sort of fruit off of it. So this one right here is a little bit larger. It's going to take a little while before you see anything off that. Beautiful little river flowing through here. Little creek. There's hardly ever any water going through here. And here is some logs that we also did in 2019. And these just had their first fruiting on them during the summer. This is a warm weather variety of shiitake. And see these big old monster logs. They took a long time before we ever actually got anything. But I got about 5 pounds off of just one log on here. So did pretty good. The water is certainly flowing through here though, that's for sure. Had a heck of a rain. We have a big announcement coming up. Y'all will probably hear about it next Tuesday. This might be the only video that you get until then because we're working on what we're doing, and it's taking a lot of time. So, but yeah, it's a really exciting things coming along. But let's see, what is this? Oh, this is the honeyberry. I forgot I planted this here. I was like, what the heck is this plant doing here? This is my little hazelnut patch right here. There's a couple little hazelnuts in here. This one right here is a European hazelnut. Are you trying to bloom, you big dummy? Some buds on it. Well, it's a European, so maybe it just doesn't care. This is also a hazelnut. That's a California Jefferson hazelnut. I need to honestly document these so I remember which ones do good. And this one's just a hazelnut that I got from Hallman Farms in Little Mountain. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank y'all for watching. You have any questions or comments, put them in the comments. Thank y'all for watching. Bye-bye.